Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Grown Mannerisms, being fluid with the currents of life. I'm John.
I'm Javonna, also known as Vonnie.
And today, I want to talk about love. Love is not something that I've thought about often. It's just something that, it's a word, a feeling. It's something we say, something we do. But the question I have is love an emotion to you? I personally have always associated love with a feeling. We use the word love to encompass a lot of things. We use it to say,
I love my spouse.
I
love hamburgers.
The things that we like and we have affection for, we just use it generally as we love it.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And then you brought to my attention that the Greeks have 8 different words for love.
Mm-hmm.
Like you have pragma, which I'm not going to run through all of them, but like pragma, which is enduring love. You have brotherly love. They have familiar love. They have romantic love. They have playful love. They have all these different words for this one feeling, action. And then they have what's called agape, which is endless love, which the only closest translation we would have in our would be unconditional love.
Yes.
The reason why we want to ask is love and emotion is because love is also an action.
Yes.
For instance, if I say I'm happy and I'm smiling and everything, you can physically see that I'm happy. So if I say I'm happy, you're going to be like, oh, he looks happy. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Or you could just say things without necessarily feeling them, because it's easy to just say it.
Yeah. And so with love, it's kind of like you can tell someone you love them, but they be like, I don't feel it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't see it.
Mm-hmm.
And that goes into what we also have, which is the 5 different love languages.
Yes.
So the 5 different love languages. Now this is something that's kind of new to me, so I may not have them all off the top of my head correctly, but it's quality time, acts of service, receiving gifts, physical touch, and words of affirmation.
Yes. Sounds right.
Yeah, so the 5 love languages is saying how we give and how we receive love, which makes it an act.
Right.
If love is an emotion, it's kind of like in its own category. Because when I thought about it, it's like, I've had somebody say to me that they don't consider love an emotion because they look at emotions like the weather. Like it could be sunny one day, rainy the next day.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And your emotions kind of go like that. And another person gave me another example who also didn't feel like love was an emotion, which was strange to me because I thought everybody just assumed it was an emotion. Mm-hmm. But he said that he was like, yo, if somebody tell you they sad, you can try to do things or say things to them to try to help them alleviate that sadness or make them happy and things like that.
Yeah.
And he was like, or, you can somebody can tell you they feel a certain way about something and you can tell them, shake it off, shake yourself out of it. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? But if somebody tells you that they're in love, nobody says shake it off. Nobody, they kind of like, oh, well, you got that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, so and then when I thought about it even further, I thought about 2 things for myself because like I said, I never thought of love as anything else but an emotion. Mm-hmm. But I did think of the fact that love would be the only quote unquote emotion that can be used to describe another emotion. Because I got 2 points with this. Mm-hmm. So for instance, you don't say I'm happily sad, right? You don't. Yeah, you don't say I'm angry at my joy. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? You don't say those things because you can't use an emotion to describe an emotion. Mm-hmm. However, you can say, I love my passion for something. Mm-hmm. You can say, I love the joy that you bring me. Mm-hmm. So you can use love to describe an emotion. And then I started thinking, and I know this may sound a little convoluted, but it's also like we always love something. Like regardless, like even the person that doesn't love another person, per se romantically, like in the Greek way, but you may love your mom. And let's say you don't love romantically and you don't love your mother. Then maybe you love a certain TV show. Maybe, or you may love being alone. Mm-hmm. So love is something that's inherently in us. And then the two examples I use of the people that felt like that it wasn't an emotion. One said it's spiritual, and the reason why I kind of could dig that is because, like, we don't choose really what we're like. I'm using this as an example. We don't choose what we're attracted to. It's kind of like something inherently in us that just makes that appealing and appeasing to us.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? And the things that we don't like, it's just something inherently in us that turns us off to it.
Right.
We didn't make the conscious decision. Now, as you get older, you can kind of make the decision on what's healthy for you or not. Love elicits emotion. So if you love someone, you're happy when you're around them.
Yes.
And then,
well,
you should be. No? Well, not should. I'm not going to use the word should.
I do.
All right, well, let's say it like this. Love will make you have the full range of the other emotions. So let's say if you love someone, loving someone can make you happy.
Yes.
If you lose them, it can make you sad. If they don't do what you expect them to do, it can make you angry.
Okay.
So love elicits the other emotions.
Okay.
So if someone makes you sad, you don't feel the joy when you sad. You get what I'm saying? Because you feel the sadness.
Yeah.
But you got a but.
I don't know. I'm just the gears. Just because I'm thinking like you can be sad that you can't stop loving someone.
Yes, you can. So, but it's still working in reverse where the love is eliciting that emotion from you. The fact that you love this person is causing you to have a secondary emotion. Like Tina Turner said.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's like love is the catalyst for all emotions. So could it even be considered an emotion, or is it its own separate category?
So now I'm thinking like maybe it's a combo. Maybe it's a combo of like 50% of what I feel innately without beyond my control, and then 50% the agape love. It's like the endless, unconditional. It's like, you know, no matter what the circumstances, I still choose to love you. So maybe it's like part choice. Like this is what I'm gonna do. I made up my mind, and part I feel it. So I don't know.
No, that's a great confusing breakdown. And I'm saying confusing because it is confused, because it's kind of like you're forced to think what comes first. Like, you know what I'm saying? Do something make you happy so you love it, or do you be happy about something because you love it? I mean, did I say it the right way?
Like is it the happy egg or the loving chicken?
Yeah.
Comes first.
Yeah. And it's like with love, it's really just a personal thing. Like I said, I've actually looked it up, and some definitions have it as an emotion, but most definitions have it as a verb, as an action, because you have to show love.
Yes.
No matter what you feel about someone, if you tell them how you feel with love, if they don't see it, however they process it, whether it's quality time, words of affirmation, all those love languages, and you did the test, correct?
Yes.
And what was yours?
I forgot.
Well, mine was quality time.
I think acts of service.
I think that's what you said a couple of days ago when we talked about it. I thought mine would be acts of service, because how I show love is by doing stuff for people.
Okay, so.
But then I was like, but if the test is based off of how I receive it, and I receive it by quality time.
Okay, so let me just throw this wrench in this whole thing. And introverts. In introverts part 2, you were saying that like how much your time alone is the most valuable. And now when you do the test, it says when I have a partner, I need quality time. So that's
right. Okay. All right. So that's actually a good dig in. That's actually good, because I thought about that, and it's not a contradiction. And I'm going to explain how.
Okay.
I got my nerd finger in the air. That's my nerd finger. Because quality time doesn't equate to quantity of time.
Okay.
So what it is that I love being alone, but I want the quality of the time that I do spend with someone to be, well, I want the time that I do spend with someone to be quality.
Yes.
It has to be, and that's how I know that's why I was wrong once I took the test, because I thought it would be acts of service, because since I do like spending so much time alone, I feel like the only way I can show people I love them sometimes is by like big grand displays of affection.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Did you overcompensate?
Yes.
Okay.
So when I take the test, I take the test as how I normally think, what I normally feel.
Yeah.
And so when I answered the questions like that, quality time made sense, especially when it broke it down, because then I also feel like any time I spend with someone else is valuable. I feel like that's the most valuable thing I have to offer is my time.
Right.
It's easy for me to loan somebody some money or do an act of service for anybody. I would do that for, people I don't love, but that I may just have sympathy for.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? I may do words of affirmation would be my second most important to me as far as receiving it. But I also give words of affirmation to people that I have sympathy for, that I just, I have a genuine like for.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
My acts of service are like simple. Like, if you know I love Twizzlers, which I do. If you know I love Twizzlers, like, and you're like, you went to the store and you just came back like, hey, I got some Twizzlers for you. Like, to me, that just, even though it's like a $2 sacrifice, to me, that means the world. Things like that.
Yeah, no, and it makes complete sense. And that's why I feel like quality time. Time is what I don't give anybody that I don't love. Not an enormous amount of time. Like, that is the one thing that I can give the person that I'm, because, but in fairness to other people, I had to understand, especially through this last week of looking this up. And like I said, I am nowhere close to an expert, and nowhere, know-how, in no way am I trying to tell anybody else anything. I know nothing. You know what I'm saying? But what I've studied the last week has just made me understand for myself that I have to be conscious and aware of how other people receive love.
Yeah.
So for me, giving somebody $10, I'm just using an example, it's not that big a deal. But to the person I'm with, if I'm giving $10 to everybody, it's kind of like...
It's not special.
Yeah, it's kind of like, you're supposed to be giving $10 to me, and I'm just kind of like... But I'm standing here with you while I'm giving everybody else $10. So me standing here with you is more important than the money I'm handing out to everybody else. But if the other person receives love as an act of service, then they look at like, yo, you just giving your love to everybody.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But because mine is quality time, I'm like, but I'm here with you while I'm doing all these things. So to me, I'm showing the highest form of love.
Yeah, so I wonder if like that serves as a high percentage to why certain couples don't work out, is because they had different love languages. And the person on the one hand is like, this is all that I'm doing for you. And the other person is like, I don't really care about that. You're still not giving me what I need. And the person is like, I'm giving you the best that I can. And the other person is just like, I don't see it.
It's not enough.
Your best. People don't understand it. Just because you like to receive love a certain kind of way doesn't mean your partner's going to automatically have that in their frame of mind to do that. So you have to be open about what it is that you are looking for, or what it is that you feel like that you need.
And I think one of the biggest things, honestly, is understanding ourselves. I feel like I know myself pretty well. So knowing me isn't the problem. Knowing how to adapt to somebody else's me is the problem. So, you know what I mean? So, and I think that goes for all of us. And some of us don't spend a lot of time self-reflecting. So, these little quizzes and tests, they're for fun. Personality tests, love quizzes and things like that. But it does, even though they're for fun, they do give you an insight into your own brain, an insight into your own inner workings to kind of maybe understand, like, maybe this is how I'm coming off to people. Or maybe I didn't see this about myself or look at it this way, but this is what I'm projecting.
I know what I like, and I know that you know what I like because you were trained to know what I like. But what do you like?
But in closing, all jokes aside, like, this was really not a conversation about telling anyone one way or another. We're just posing the question, like, do you feel love is an emotion? Or do you feel like love is an act?
How do you spell love?
How do you give it? How do you receive it? And just kind of reflect on that. Maybe if you're in a relationship and you're having some discord or disconnect, maybe trying to understand how the other person receives love, how you give it, maybe could, help alleviate some of that pressure or discord. I know for me personally, my personal goal from this understanding that I've just began this journey. Like I said, I know nothing, so I'm not trying to act like the expert. But one thing I can say is that the way I'm going about it is like how an athlete, and I just want to say this in the sense of, some people are great at something and they, quote unquote, like the saying goes, know their role. And so if you're a great rebounder, you just be like, you know what, I'm not here to shoot, I'm not here to pass the ball, I'm just here to rebound. I'm gonna be the best rebounder that I can be. And that's what my team needs, that's what your partner needs, that's what whoever you're engaging with needs. I'm gonna just be the best rebounder I can be. And then you have other athletes who say, okay, I'm the best rebounder I can be, but in the off season, let me work on my passing. And then they can get that in their repertoire. And then the following off season, be like, okay, let me work on my scoring now, so I can be I want to maximize all aspects of the game. And it's neither one is right or wrong. You can know your role and just want to be the best at what you do. And then you can also be the person that has that burning desire to do everything. Now, maybe it's ego, maybe it's arrogance, it's the Jordan effect. So Jordan took everything as a slice, so he just wanted to. And so I feel like what my personal goal is, and the thing I'm challenging myself to do moving forward in my life, is to encompass all the love languages with anybody I love. Okay. If I love someone, I want to give them quality time. I want to give them words of affirmation. I want to give them acts of service. I want to give them gifts, receiving gifts, and then I also want to give them physical touch. And whatever parameters are appropriate for whatever situation, my personal goal and challenge to myself is to not just consider quality time the way I give or receive love, but to try to encompass them all. Be more comfortable.
Of love.
Yeah, I have a problem. I'm not great at receiving gifts. So sometimes I will deny people the pleasure or the opportunity to provide me with something because I'm like, nah, I don't want you to spend your money. You know what I'm saying? So I want to receive the love in every aspect that someone is willing to give it. And I want to give love in every aspect, in every language that the person requires.
Multilingual in the language of love.
Multilingual in the language of love. Striving to encompass all of those things is just the highest form of expression. Because whether you look at love like a spiritual, and I forgot to say that the second person said love is a communication. They look at it as a way of communicating to the person that you share your life with. So whether you look at love as something spiritual, whether you look at it as a communication, whether you look at it as a feeling, whether you look at it as an action, whatever you look at it as, the highest form of it is just embodying everything the person that you say you love needs and requires, and for you to receive it in all the ways you need and require it. And yeah. Anything else?
No.
All right. Well, this has been, thank you all for tuning in. This has been Grown Mannerisms, being fluid with the currents of life. I'm John.
I'm Giovanna, also known as Monty.
What's that sign language? Oh, what's that? Rockaway? Cowabunga?
How is it?
All right. Yeah. All right. One love. We out.